first one, I think, is just the biggest one outside of this game. To have a win like this over a program like Texas, ranked to win everything, on the day that Noelle Johnson's getting honored with their bench and everything. What does that, I mean, for you specifically, but this program, what does that really mean for that to be today?
Yeah, well, she was with us. I wrote on the board grit and put equals Noelle. Because that's what she was and that's what she brought to our program, and that was the standard that she set. And to be quite honest, that's the standard that we're setting here with this team. And what better way to do that than to honor Noelle? And I'm just so proud of the girls because they knew Noelle. They understand her story. They know her legacy. And so, yeah, she was with us every step of the way. And I can promise you she is celebrating up there in heaven right now.
Now, when we look at this game specifically, I know we've asked you multiple times about just multiple players stepping up, having a complete game performance. Where have you seen the growth just these last two games? I know West Virginia was a loss, but just how that game was played and now to have a win like this, where have you seen them?
Well, we're not having as many negative possessions right in a row, whether that's offensive stalls or bad shots or defensive lapses. We're finding ways to continue to put positive possessions together. And that includes other kids stepping up and scoring and or making an extra pass or whatever it might be. And so I'm really proud of just them starting to carry over things that they're learning in every game that we're playing.
And last one for me, I don't want to steal everything from Carlos, but how is it in this game it's not just coming from behind and, stealing a victory or giving up, to be ahead basically the entire second half and fend off a team like that. How different was that for this team, and how nice was it to see where they can hold on to it and for extended amounts of time really be the better team?
Yeah, I just was proud of them for not panicking. I was proud of their maturity that they showed, the poise that they played with. We had people stepping up at the free throw line and being really, really mentally tough. And we took care of the basketball. Their defense is tough and it can get you rattled. And we had a little moment there in the third quarter that we kind of had back-to-back easy turnovers that turned into points for them. And I thought that they came out of the timeout and got themselves together and just gathered themselves. We just had some great leadership, too. I thought Vivian, of course, was big time all night. I thought Lexi stayed in there with it. Her shot wasn't going down for her early, but she stayed in there with it. She made a really big play on defense late in the game over the top that I thought was really good. And then Najee was really, really good all night long. I just thought they really played with a lot of maturity.
Coach, I know you talk about building a foundation and kind of those things, but what does this win? I know obviously you're looking to the future, but what does this kind of help you do and help you kind of establish right now in your first year?
Yeah, well, it's going to help in recruiting. That's for sure. Wins always do when you win over ranked opponents. But, well, it just establishes a mindset. We can no longer be thought of as the bottom of the Big 12 or even the middle of the pack of the Big 12. We have to be contenders, and every single game that we play is an opportunity for us to be a contender and to show what we're made of. And that's where the program was when I played. That's where it was when I was coaching here with Coach Sharp, and that's where we want it to be now. And so it's just a mindset and a standard that this is how you battle, and you battle for 40 minutes no matter who's on the other end.
Mentioned it already with the maturity that they showed, but to have Najee, Vivian, Bryn with 4 fouls and to kind of see Texas kind of not necessarily lose patience maybe, but to see them have players foul out, how big was that for y'all just to kind of keep your main players on the floor to where they could make plays, especially Vivian, who made that 3-point play that got out the lead to 7 late?
Yeah, it's huge. I thought it was huge. We have a short bench anyway, so we are going to have to play with some fouls. And that's the first time we've really been in foul trouble in consecutive positions. But I thought that our kids did a good job of still competing tough, still standing their ground, and still attacking. They were in just as much foul trouble, and it worked out really well on our end to continue to be the aggressors.
Coach, what's something you saw from your team that maybe you haven't seen yet this season that kind of set them apart today?
I thought I saw a look in their eyes that they believed they could win, and that they that they really wanted to step up to the challenge, and they stuck together. They've been sticking together, but you could just tell there wasn't any bad body language. When someone did make a mistake, we helped each other and we picked each other up and we got it back and made a big play. And everybody kind of did their role. I mean, the fact that Tuck came in and took charges, I mean, we need somebody to do that, and she was great in doing that and very unselfish in doing it.
Clearly, you had a fun celebration in the locker room after the game. Can you just explain that for us and how good it felt to finally be walking into the locker room with a win and a smile on your face? Absolutely.
Well, we celebrate every win, big or small, doesn't matter, because that's what wins are so few and far between sometimes, And so we came in and they just drenched me with water, and we had a big dance party, and it was a lot of fun. I love celebrating with them, especially after they've just given everything they have out on the court for the Lady Raiders.
Anything else for Ronald? Let's see your hands up.
Yeah. For you over the last, couple weeks, you've been very pertinent on how much fight they've shown and how resilient this team has been all season long. And then for you guys to go on that 4-game losing streak, how does it feel to sort of, finally see that fight pay off and you guys get a big win like this?
Yeah, well, I think that we lost a ball game or two that we probably feel like we shouldn't have, or we could have fought harder, we could have executed better, and I really feel like when we went to West Virginia, for whatever reason, we just turned a little bit of a corner. We turned a corner in how we approached the game. We turned a corner in how we played the game, and we've got to have that type of fight. I think they're finally understanding, there are no nights off in the Big 12, and there's no possessions off. And that was the biggest thing that they've had to learn, is that you cannot take possessions off. Every possession matters.
You started Maka today and moved Bren to the bench. What sort of went into that decision, and how did you feel like it played out?
Our rotation has been changing a lot, and you're trying to get kids to have a good start and just energy, and I thought Maka's been doing a good job and is bringing us some athleticism and taking care of the basketball a little bit better. So matchups as well. I think matchups are a big part of it for us moving forward, because every team we play in the Big 12 is different, and it's going to take some different lineups.
You are part of the first, if I'm getting this correctly, you were part of the first Texas Tech team to beat Texas.
Yes, I was.
And now this is your first win as a coach for Texas Tech against Texas. Which one sort of, felt better to you, or which one do you feel is more of an accomplishment?
Oh my gosh, I don't think that's a fair question, right? All wins are great, and I will tell you that no matter, and especially all wins over Texas. I don't think that you can balance them. I don't think you can say one more than the other. All wins are great. Super happy for our kids, though.
Najee, I guess in that second quarter where you guys went on that little run to close off the half with a lead, I guess what were y'all trying to do there, and what kind of led you all to kind of get on that run there where you kind of put some points in and Vivian was able to get to go as well?
The game was a game of momentum, and it seemed like we were in the ones with momentum the whole game. So when we decided in the timeout, we have to make play-by-play, and that was kind of what it was. We have this saying, we put positive possessions in a row. So, offense, defense, and that worked for us. And Vivian made some plays for us. Maka made some plays for us in that quarter that really got us that really got us going and put us in a position to win early.
In terms of what y'all were able to do there, did you kind of feel like y'all kind of displayed your toughness and you kind of out-toughed Texas tonight?
Yeah, of course. Tuck had some charges that were game changers. We had some finishes that were just incredible. And when you decide to play tough and decide to play hard against a good Texas team like this, then it rolled for us. And we have to build on this, because if we play like that, there's not anyone we could probably lose to the rest of the year.
Vivian certainly had a good second half. I guess what was the key for you all to kind of keep fending off these late charges by Texas, because they got it to within one possession with, I want to say 2 or 3 3-pointers, but I guess what kept you all focused and able to kind of push them away and allow yourselves a victory?
Well, like Naj said, it's a game of momentum. So we had some runs, they had some runs. That's going to happen in basketball. You just have to tough it out. You got to stay together, got to stay composed, and that's what we did.
Last one from me. I know Coach Gerlich talks about building the foundation, trying to get these vindication wins. What does this mean? Or what does this win mean, to both of you, in terms of just not necessarily getting a win over a ranked opponent, but just getting a victory and kind of showing that all this work is paying off for you all?
Well, I think that it started for us at West Virginia. We played together, we played tough. And that was a great game for us, and it kind of showed us that we can do this. We can win games. We can be competitive. And that rolled over into tonight, and I think this is just evidence that we can be competitive in the Big 12.
You asked me too? Yeah. Yeah, she's right. We decided after the West Virginia game that we were going to lose to anyone else, and if we did, it was going to be a fight like that one. And when we left West Virginia, we made a decision as a program, and we saw, game one, we just showed you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Naj, Coach Gerlich's talked about how earlier in the season they were looking for, all-around team success, a lot of people contributing. How was that really seen throughout this game where, it just seemed like there was constantly someone different making plays just all throughout?
We often say we have to help each other score. And we don't care, really. You can see from us, we don't care who puts the ball in the rim. As long as the ball goes in the rim, we are good. And that is fun to play with. And that's why we win big games like this. And that's why we compete, because we don't care. As the ball goes in, we are getting back on defense and ready to defend. And that feels good as a team, and it feels good to be out there when we're on the same page with that.
And Vivian, what was this one like where it was such a different one, whether win or lose, just the fact that you guys were in control and ahead so much of this game? How different was that being the one that's, you're not having to make a comeback late in the game or just where you're just kind of, controlling